Hey everybody, Karen here, a creator at Unpinned Creative. Welcome to my first tutorial video on my new channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this gorgeous little dragon wings journal. I really love this journal. It's a quick and easy make and it looks so cool sitting on a shelf slightly opened like that with your wings out. These dragon wings I have available in my shop at www.unpinnedcreative.co.nz. There are 5 colour options to choose from in the shop. Just one of each colour at the moment. So if you like any of these in particular, get in quick. I won't be making any more straight away, probably for a wee while. I have a lot of products to upload to my website, but I had these ready to go, so I wanted to get those on there and show you how to use them. If you have a machine embroidery sewing machine, you can hop over to Embroidery Library and grab this design. It's available over there. That's where I found it, and it's a really cool design and you can use it for so many cool things like this journal that we're about to make today. So let's get onto it. Okay, I'm going to use this colour dragon wings today, a beautiful burgundy with some grey shading. We don't need those just yet. First we want to get our pages sorted. So for the pages we need 50 sheets of paper. The journal has 10 signatures and each signature has 10 pages. So I'm going to use black and this beautiful marble paper for the signatures. It would look cool all in black as well, but I wanted a little bit of an option when I was using the journal, so I've gone for the 2. And then also the front and back cover, which is what your dragon wings will be attached to. You'll need 2 sheets for those. So I am going to start by cutting all my sheets. Now what you want to do is cut 50 pieces of paper that are approximately 10 centimeters by 20 centimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will be right back to show you what they look like. Okay, and once you have all of those trimmed, you can go ahead and fold them all in half. What you might like to do is put your pages into signatures before you fold them in half. That way, when you fold them and crease them, you will see you can trim them so that all the pages are the same width. I'll show you what I mean by that. So I have 5 signatures that are going to have the marble paper on the outside. And I will have 5 signatures that will have the black paper on the outside. But 2 of those signatures will have this burgundy paper on the outside actually. For the covers. Now let me make sure. Yep. Okay, so we have 10 piles, each with 5 sheets of paper, and now we're going to fold those piles in half to create our signatures. So for my outside, the first signature and the last signature, I'm going to have the burgundy colour paper on the outside, because that's going to be what goes behind the dragon wings, and I'm also going to pop a piece of vellum over it. I just like the way that looks. So now I can fold these signatures in half. And you'll see that the middle pages tend to stick out more, and also those white ones I didn't trim to the right length. So what you can do now is trim off those extra pages so they're all the same width if you want them to be. Otherwise, I'm all for randomness, so please do it how it works best for you. I am not big on perfection. I like uneven edges and bits and pieces sticking out here and there. Okay, so that's the first signature. And this will be the last signature. I am not much of a talker, I'm sorry. I watch all the other beautiful YouTubers and they're so chatty and fun to listen to and make their videos really exciting. So it'll take me a little while to get into that, so I apologise for the long breaks of dead silence. And then we're just going to carry on with the rest of the signatures doing the same thing, folding them in half and trimming. Okay, so there are our 10 signatures. So I'm just going to pop those in order, stagger them. Turn that around. Front and the back. So that was the quick and easy part, and now comes for the exciting bit where we add the wings and do the binding. Well, we have to do the binding first, but this is, you can get an idea of what it's going to look like. It's going to be very cool. Okay, now to do the binding, I'm going to do a French link binding, which means, it's a bit hard to see with the ribbon, but it gives you a crisscross effect, and means you can open the book out flat, like this. So, in order to do that, there's a really good tutorial on YouTube by Sea Lemon, I believe her name is. I will try and link that in the description box below, so that you've got another person to refer to. She's does lots of really cool bindings and things like that, and explains it really well. So if I confuse you, please pop over there and have a look. But what you'll need is some thread, obviously, and a needle with an eye big enough to get your thread through. I'm just using embroidery floss, but you could use hemp cord or waxed thread, whatever you usually use for binding your journals. I use anything and everything, from ribbon to twine to, yeah, the embroidery floss, hemp cord, blah blah blah. And you need a length that is at least the same. You need as many lengths as you have signatures, at least. So we have 10 signatures, so we want 10 lengths like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I've got a bit extra for good luck. And before we start sewing, we need to punch some holes. So for a French link binding, we want a series of an even number of holes. So for this book, I believe I used 8. So it will be a bit hard for you to see, but there's 1 hole, 2 holes, 2 holes, 2 holes, and another hole at the bottom. So it just needs to be an even number. And I like the look that 8 holes give me, so I'm going to use that number for these as well. Now, of course, you want to try and get your holes in the same place so that it's even and consistent and looks really cool on the spine. So rather than doing it by eye, which is what I would normally do, I'm going to make a little template so that I can get the holes in approximately, as best I can, the same place. So using a piece of paper that is the same height as my signatures, I'm going to mark on there where I want my holes. So I want 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, and then 2 lots of 2 in the middle. 3 lots of 2 in the middle. 1, 2, and 1, 2. Now, if you are a more precise crafter than I am, you could measure that all out so that they are exactly evenly spaced and things like that. But as long as I get all my holes on my signature in the same place on each signature, then I'm happy. And then we will need an awl or a sharp needle or something to poke the holes with on your signatures. So this is my awl, and I'm going to poke the holes in my template first. You don't want your holes too close to the edge because you risk tearing the page, but I'll go with what I've got here. And now I'm going to pop that template into my signature, making sure I've marked where the top is, and that will be the top for all my signatures. And then I'm going to ensure that the holes are lined up on each signature. And if you want to, you could paper clip the pages to hold them in place and keep them nice and straight. I'm just going to go ahead. Okay, so there are the holes punched for my first signature. Now I'm going to put them all up the right way so that I know the top is the top. I'm just going to do the same for each of the 10 signatures. If you fold the pages back over as you're putting the hole in, you're less likely to, I find, you're less likely to miss the center of the signature when you're pushing your awl through, because it's a pain when you are pushing your awl through and it comes out on either side. Sometimes that happens, but for me, if I fold the pages as I push if I fold the signature back together as I push the awl through, then that kind of stops that from happening. There we go. That's all of our signatures. Now we get to start with the binding. So I'm going to start at the last signature, and what you want to do is, because I'm not putting on a cover, so essentially this is my cover because this is what the dragon wings are going to be attached to. So I'm just starting with the top signature, and we put our needle through the bottom hole that we made. And just leave a bit of a tail. First signature's easy peasy, we're literally just sewing up the spine. Like a normal signature. and back out through the top. So that was easy peasy. Next we are going to attach the next signature. So we put that on top, remembering that this is the bottom of our book. Put this on top and we're going to pop the needle through the top hole of that signature. Okay, so it's coming out of this first signature and into the next signature. Then we're going back through the next hole of that top signature. Pull it tight. Now we're going to slide our needle under the thread on that first signature. And then we're going back down into the next hole of the second signature. Okay, so we've made a little crisscross shape there. Pull it tight. Now we put our needle out through the next hole. Pull it tight, and again we're going to hook under this loop on the first signature and pull our thread through. And then back down into the next hole. Pull it tight through the next hole. Slide your needle back under that loop. Get your tail out of the way. Right. Back through the second to last hole. Get your tail out of the way. Pull it tight. Right, now you go back into the last hole of that second signature that we're attaching. If I can get my needle in the right place. And you're going to take the thread that you left, the little tail that you left on the first signature, pull the threads tight, because we don't want any loopy loops. Like we have there. Oh, we've got a knot. These are all things that can happen when you are binding your journal, especially if you have a really long length of thread. Now I've got to try and get that undone. Pull all your threads tight. and then tie the tail that you left at the beginning and the thread that is attached to your needle together to secure it. So I'm just going to open up the two signatures and lay them flat to make that a bit easier for me. Okay, then you can trim off your little tail so it stops getting in the way. And now we just continue to add signatures in the same way. So we put the next signature on, push our needle through the bottom hole there, and I've managed to get another knot. Okay, back through the next one, pull it tight, and then when we get to the first crisscross, we're going to slide our needle under the thread of the previous signature, like that. Pull it through, trying not to get the thread is knotted. It's under that loop, and then we're going back into the next hole. Out this hole, under the thread of the second signature. Sorry, I banged the camera. Right, back under this loop-de-loop that's coming out of the second signature. It is a little bit tricky sometimes. There we go. Back down into the second to last hole. And out through the last hole. Okay, so we have 3 signatures on. So I'm just going to continue doing that for all the rest of the signatures, and I will come back and show you what it looks like when I get to the end. Okay, my phone stopped recording for a minute, but we're putting the last signature which is actually the first signature, onto the journal now. So we go in through the last hole and like that. All the signatures are sewn together. Now to tie it off, I just go under this last, so in between where the two previous signatures were joined together, I slide under that piece of thread there, and under in between the first and second signatures, take my needle through the loop and tie a knot. I didn't pull it tight, so that's a bit loose, but it's not going to matter. Just make sure that's tied off. Oh. Securely and snip my thread. So there you go. There is our journal. It sits nice and flat for working in. This one is a bit thicker than this one, because this one I used all paper, just copyright paper, and this one, the black pieces are more of a thicker card. But it's going to look really cool once the cover's on, and we're up to that bit now. So, very exciting. Alright. Time for the wings. Let's get that out of the way. So here we have our dragon wings, and I'm going to use 2 pieces of ribbon to create a corset effect, and I kind of like it. It's the effect of the tail of the dragon. Gives the illusion of the tail of the dragon, I suppose. So I like to use an organza ribbon, and then just a satin ribbon or something that matches nicely. I only had this grosgrain ribbon in my stash that was a colour that worked for me, so I'm going to use that, but I don't like the white polka dots. So what I'm going to do, which is going to be enormous fun, is I'm just going to take a gold pen. This one is just a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen, but a metallic gold paint pen would be really cool, and I'm going to colour in every single one of those white dots gold. So I'm going to do that now. You just talk amongst yourselves and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, that was about as much fun as I thought it would be, but I've now coloured in all of the dots gold. And now I'm just going to trim the edges of my ribbon into points, like that. That one stops it from fraying as easily, and also is helpful in threading the ribbon through the eyelets. We'll probably trim it again because it will get a little bit frayed after we've finished threading it, but it's worth doing it for ease of threading now. Okay, I forgot to tell you how much ribbon you need. You need a length, at least 60 centimeters, I would say. I've got two different lengths here. I would say at least 60 centimeters, and just the more ribbon you have, the longer your tail is. I think the ribbon I used on this was probably about 1 meter of each. So this is 60 centimeters, this red one. This is probably about 80. So we'll thread it through and see how it looks. I am going to try and get the red in the middle of the gold. Which might be crazy. But let's see if it works. If I get two tiny little silver pins, I might be able to keep it in there while I'm threading it. We'll see. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we're going to start from the back side of the wing. Fold your ribbon in half and pull it through one side. There we go. Then you're going to get your other wing, turn it upside down. I've done that wrong. So we're going to get our wings, lay them down on the bench upside down. And what we want to do is start from this side, fold your ribbon in half and push it through the top hole of one side. Then you're going to get your other side and do the same with the other end. From the back, push it through to the front in the top hole. I haven't pinned this. End of the ribbon. Okay, so you've got something that looks like this. Now we're going to flip it back over to the front. Pull your ribbon tight, and now we need to check how far apart we need the wings to be to wrap around our book. So put your wings on your book, and we want that much of a gap. So we just stretch it out, and it stretches out the ribbon for us, and that's about the width of ribbon we need. Okay, so lay that flat again, and then just carry on threading. So you go from this side, you go to the opposite side. Now being careful when you pull it tight not to shorten that width that you've measured. I mean, you can always measure it again, that's fine. But it's always easier if you don't have to. Okay, and then you get the other side and put it through the middle hole on the opposite wing. Okay, now you can flip your wings over again, and we're just going into the last hole. So from this side we're going into the opposite side. And then the same on the other side. Flip your wings back over and you should have something that looks like this. Okay, now we're going to measure it on our book again, make sure it's hunky-dory, it all fits. And this is where you can pull things tighter or loosen them up, whatever. Make sure if you need to turn your ribbon over because it's not sitting exactly how you'd like it, or it's upside down, or now is the time to do it. Okay, and then we're not going to tie the bow just yet, we're going to glue our wings onto our book first. But that is the body of the dragon, I guess, if you like. So now we need to glue our wings onto the covers. So you want a good strong glue for doing this, especially if you're going onto vellum, which probably wasn't the cleverest thing for me to choose, but okay, I'm going to take my pins out now. I don't need those anymore before I stab myself. Right, I'm going to lay my book flat. No, am I? No, I'm not. I'm going to use a super glue for the vellum, but if you don't have vellum on your cover, just a good tacky glue or Fabrifix or something like that will work perfectly well. And all I'm going to do is glue down here beside the ribbon and into the spaces in between the eyelets to glue it onto the page. I need okay, so working on the front part of the cover first. Put my glue on, get it where I want it on the page. Centered is good, with the edge of the wing against the edge of the signature. And I'm just going to hold that down until it sets. No, I'm not. Okay, it's holding enough for me to do the back part. So pop some more glue on there. Get that lined up in the center of the page. Check and make sure they're both where you want them to be. And then I would clamp it if you have bulldog clips big enough. I don't. Okay, so then once you've got them glued on, you'll probably want to clamp them in place as best you can, especially between the eyelets where you've put the glue, until it completely dries. So I'm going to leave that to dry, and then we will come back and finish it off. Alright, the wings are nice and stuck on to the journal now. The glue is dry, so it's time to tie the bow. And you just tie it however you like to tie your bows. This red ribbon is a bit short, as I suspected it might be. So that was only 60 centimetres long, so you really definitely need about 80 centimetres to a metre to get a decent length for having tails and a nice bow. Here we go. He's tied. There's our dragon wing journal. So I was going to do a little bit of decorating and show you, but this video has already gone on way too long. So what I might do that off camera and show you the results, or I might do it on camera, just a really short quick video, and show you that in my next tutorial or video upload. So I just want to say thank you all for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and are inspired to go and create your own little dragon wing journals. You could of course just cut dragon wings out of cardstock and decorate them and make a dragon wing journal that way, put some eyelets in, and that would be really cool. Let me know what you think anyway. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you next time.